All right, we back again, man. It's the Real Camden Podcast. It's your host, Kobe Boykin. Missing my co-host, J Dub. But we got two guys with us, two special guests, man. Some real Camden boys. Our Clemson analysts. Got my guy, Baines Galloway, and my boy, David Bishop. How y'all fellas doing?
Better than I was on Saturday. I got time to process it now, but got a lot to get off my chest. So I'm sure Banks does too. So excited to
Yeah,
kind of dive into everything.
yeah. Feeling better now. Rough Saturday, but some good games yesterday. So good college football weekend in general.
All right, man. So we going to start off with our matchup. You know, I'm the LSU analyst, LSU representative. So we had a matchup in the real Death Valley. I know y'all boys were in attendance. How's the game? How's the atmosphere? What's the vibes like?
I think atmosphere was good. I've been saying for years though that whoever runs the Clemson media has got to step it up. Like the music they play and just like some of the videos they play, honestly mid. It was still deep and the atmosphere was good, but I don't know. I feel like it could have been better for sure.
Yeah. I don't know how it sounded on TV, but I mean, at the start of the game, really honestly, until that last drive, whenever that pass fell incomplete, it was pretty loud the whole game. They tried it out some new stuff during the fourth quarter video. They did like a drone show. They had like drones like light up over the scoreboard and like spell out Howard's Rock and stuff. That was kind of cool. But good atmosphere all around. Would have been a lot better with a win. Hot take: we need to stop the letting everybody on the field win or lose tradition. I'm tired of seeing people just come to the stadium and just like hit the midfield logo with belts. Like,
Mm.
we need to cut that tradition out. Put some more security around there. I'm all good with never being able to like go meet like a Clemson walk-on O lineman after a game ever again. I would, if those videos never come out again of the logo getting belted. But all in all, it was good.
All right, so you know it's been some banter going on for weeks, months even between us three. So going into the game, we knew it was going to be a quarterback matchup, a defensive matchup too. So what were the X factors you think on both sides of the ball? For first, we start off for y'all boys. What y'all think? Who showed what they can really do for Clemson? Who do you want to see more from?
I think like especially after the Texas game, and even though Clemson lost, everyone's talking about how that was arguably Cade's best game, and so a lot of hype, too much hype. And I think the worst part about the game is he looked like he was a sophomore again, like just not stepping up in the pocket, like running away when like he needs to stay in the pocket. You saw him eyeing down one receiver, and like that's all. He wasn't moving on to his next read. So Nussmeier looked way better. He just looked like a vet. Looked He looked like he was a sophomore again, honestly, and he was at home after
You
all the
hitting
hype.
yourself off.
I don't know how David feels, but it felt like we were watching like 2022 Cade, 2023 Cade.
Yeah, I'm a little higher on it than that. It definitely was disheartening to see where the offense ended last year, to see we're just almost right back where we were at the Georgia game the year before week one. So it was a little disappointing to not see any improvement there. Cade definitely still has some issues. The happy feet in the pocket, and then just the unwillingness to stand in there. I feel like anytime the pocket collapsed a little bit, he would want to roll out and try and make something happen. And I understand that. I mean, he's a quick kid, and a couple times he did. But to Brian Baker's credit, Brian Baker disguised his spies really well. He'd have Harold Perkins sitting on the interior of the line, or Whit Weeks like sitting on the interior of the line, so you really couldn't see them from the pocket. And then when he would sprint out, they would just roll out straight at him. And those two dudes are athletic enough. You're just not outrunning them. But my main beef with the offense this game goes to the offensive line, and then B, Garrett Riley.
You got to run the ball, man. You got to run the ball.
Yeah.
So this is a paper popper. This is popped off the stat sheet. There was one running back rush attempt in the second half for the Clemson Tigers. 6-yard carry by Adam Randall. on the first play coming out of halftime, we never ran the ball again. To a running back, like we ran a couple like gadget plays to Tyler Brown, or we would like do that like play where Cade like fake drops back and then tries to draw it up. But I mean, even if the run's not working great, you still have to. You can't only have. I think the number was like 11 carries by a running back for the entire game. You can't do that. Even if the run's not working, you've got to be able to just get 3 yards here and there. So you leave yourself in third and manageable, second and manageable. And whenever you're dropping back every play, then if you get a couple incompletions, next thing you know, it's 3rd and 10, or you're even behind the chains, and it's just hard to come back from. So that was my main issue with the play calling, was just how fast we abandoned the run. I mean, it's not our strength. I mean, we got a wide receiver playing running back. But still, I mean, he had some nice carries.
Yeah,
That one where he
touchdown.
the one where he muscled through on the goal line, I was pretty impressed. His biggest impact, though, like where you can tell that he's still very much a receiver, is I think part of the reason the line looked shoddy. A lot of blitzes where the running back did not pick up the blitzing linebacker. That's a running back's responsibility. You can tell that Adam Randall hasn't quite seen that yet. I'm assuming Gideon Davidson, the freshman that we all thought was going to get some burn, who didn't see a carry, probably similar thing, probably isn't ready to pick up some of the pass pro stuff. But yeah, I mean, really, I think it just comes down to LSU won the line of scrimmage on both sides. We didn't get to Nuss great. Y'all got to Cade great, and 90% of the time, if that happens, I mean, I can tell you who's going to win.
Nah, facts, bro. I just want to add on real quick to your comments about going away from the run. Adam Randall ran 5 times, 5 rushes for only 16 yards. And like you said, the rest I see a couple scrambles from Cade and a couple wide receiver carries. But yeah, just no touches for the running back. I heard a lot of hype from him, from y'all boys in the off season. I heard he was supposed to be that guy. Like, why are they not trusting him? G2, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I really don't know why we abandoned the run in general, because you look at the stat sheet and you would assume that in the second half we were losing and we were being forced to throw the ball. But no, I mean, we had the lead, had control, and at worst we're down 7. I mean, there's no reason for us to abandon it completely. I think part of it is, a lot of times we'll start our drives with kind of an easy completion, a routine play, and that kind of gets us rolling, and we're able to run the ball. And we weren't making routine plays. We did have some drops. I mean, so I was 8 on Cade a lot, but there were some good throws and some makeable catches that our guys didn't make. In terms of the running backs, though, like I know everyone's talking about Gideon Davidson all summer, and I remember vividly watching him come in, and there was like a 2 running back set, and he's supposed to go make a block. I think Keith Adams was coming out on like a route, and Gideon Davidson just whiffed on one of the linebackers, got straight to Cade, and then I don't think he came back in the game. I think they were like, we're done with it. I don't know, for me, it's just Garrett Riley as well, not even trying to run it whenever, we were still in control. But I do think our inability to like make those routine plays kind of forced us to throw it more than we should have.
I agree. I definitely felt like Dave said earlier too, Adam Randall being like a newly crowned running back, he doesn't really know how to see those blitzes, kind of wait for those delayed blitzes in the backfield. I feel like he's more used to blocking on the outside. But I feel like we dialed up a lot of good pressures. Harold Perkins was able to close the gaps using his ability, his speed as a spot for Cade. 40, he made some big plays, made some tackles. But where do y'all want to see these teams at the end of the season? What do you think Clemson's going to do? What do you think LSU's going to do?
I feel like after these week 1 matchups, people tend to just bury teams, which isn't really fair. I mean, we're going to talk about that with Texas later, and we'll talk about that with Bama, but I think we can go ahead and bury them, but that's another point. But
Yeah, trash.
I think, I remember last year we got belted in Atlanta by Georgia. Was it 34-0, 34-3? Did we get on the board?
It got spooky.
We got the belt. That was a miserable one to watch. And kind of found our footing, made our way through the ACC. Was fortunate to hit that field goal in Charlotte, and then went to Austin and tried to make a run at it in the fourth. So ended up being a pretty good season after we all watched that game and thought, oh God. So watching this game, I saw some issues. I didn't see anything that was like fatal or unfixable other than maybe running back personnel. But, if Dabo's not going to get in the portal, can't do anything about that. So I honestly expect us to have a pretty similar year to what we had last year, honestly. 10-2-ish regular season. Find yourself back in Charlotte for the ACC title game. I will say, I think the ACC is much improved from last year. It's no SEC or Big Ten, but I think Florida State is a good team again this year. I think that Georgia Tech, that I'm terrified of that game in Atlanta in 2 weeks. I think that is the trap game on our schedule. They do not match up well with us. Their strengths are our weaknesses. And there's other teams in the conference too. Miami looked great last night. I think the ACC is much improved. It'll be a harder road, but I think that Clemson, I think we'll be back in the playoffs. I think maybe pump the brakes on the title contender talks for the time being. I mean, we're going to have to see how the season progresses, but I expect playoffs. And then as for LSU, I mean, what can I say? Y'all reloaded well. I mean, we knew the offense was going to be good. It's been the case the last 4 years under Brian Kelly. But another year in Brian Baker's system, I think, has benefited the returning pieces very well. And then y'all filled y'all's needs in the portal perfectly. Y'all have a squad. Obviously, SEC is a very top-heavy league. There's 5 teams that could pop off this year and go get it. But I fully expect to see the LSU Tigers in Atlanta playing for an SEC title and possibly a playoff bye.
I mean,
What do you see, G? Yeah, there you go.
I think for LSU, this probably was a bigger win just in the fact that the SEC schedule was going to play out way tougher than the ACC. Clemson definitely could afford this loss. LSU, it felt like a must-win, especially after losing so many, opening games the past, it's 5 years?
Yes, it's spooky, maybe 6 even.
I think Clemson will be better. I think the best thing that I saw that we haven't really talked much about is the defense, especially the D-line and the depth. I mean, everyone likes to talk about TJ Parker and Peter Woods and help, and we were rotating in guys like Stephylon Green, Ian Lawson played pretty well. Even got Dick Burley in there, who people forget about. I think the depth on defense and just the coaching on defense in general was so much better than last year that I think, obviously, we've seen the offense and we know they play better than they did. So I'm not worried, but I do think that the ACC is better. And I honestly do see us probably dropping one ACC game. But the good thing about it is that we can drop one and we'll be fine. Georgia Tech is scary. One game that I look at is LSU on a Friday night. Or not LSU, Louisville, sorry. On a Friday night, on the road. Those are the types of games every year that we struggle with. But, I mean, I think, especially with our ACC schedule, it should be playoffs, and that's the expectation. I would also probably pump the brakes on saying that we're anything more than that right now, because once you get into those big games, it comes down to quarterback play, and we really haven't seen Cade play to his potential against SEC teams or good teams in general. LSU, though, I've been saying, I said before the season, I remember you dropped the questions. I think they're the team to beat in the SEC just simply because of their quarterback. I mean, you look around the league, and other than Norris, there's not many other proven guys. And I think that when LSU is in those close games, they're going to be able to lean on Nussmeier, and he's going to make plays. But I don't know. LSU on defense obviously have improved a lot. I was impressed with the secondary. The guys outside played really well. But we'll see. It's week 1. You get into week 8, week 9 of the SEC. Teams are beaten down. You're going to have some guys who haven't played much getting snaps. We'll see. I think that they're a playoff team for sure. And they set the table with this week 1 win, too. This allows them to probably go lose 2 SEC games and still feel comfortable about getting into the playoffs.
Man, before we transition, I just want to add on. It smells like 2019. It feels like 2019. Mansoor, Delane, you really one of them, boy. Put them in that seatbelt. Put them in that.
Wait, so if it feels like 2019, does that mean Barry and Brown's going to be Justin Jefferson?
Nah,
Or is
nobody.
he
Nah, nah,
Jamar? Yeah, nah.
nah. Hey, it's that time of year, bro. It's that
I
time.
will say Trey'Dez Green is a nightmare in the red zone.
6'7".
I mean,
6'7".
like, there's not going to be many, like, corners that you can put on an island with him and feel okay about it. I love Avion Terrell, but, like, you look outside and you got him versus Trey'Dez Green, you're like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
throw a jump ball. You know who's going to get it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's talk about this Arch Manning hype. We had Texas at the Ohio State University. Ohio State took the win 14-7. What were your thoughts on Arch's first game, starting, first away game, first true road game?
Yeah, I don't think anyone was super impressed by it. But also, I think he's going to catch a lot of unfair heat because of hype that he didn't really create. I mean, think about it if his last name wasn't Manning. Think about it if he was just some random kid that's been rotting on the bench for 4 years at Texas and then got in and showed some flashes against like UL Monroe. And then his first true season at the helm, he has to go on the road to the defending national champs whenever they're hanging a banner against a defense that was top 5 in college football last year. I mean, no one's going to look good in that situation. So I'm hesitant to bury him. But that being said, a lot of just like, not not great reads. He didn't seem to have a command of, what the defense was doing. He seemed confused out there at times. And then also, I mean, he just threw a lot of bad balls, a lot of overthrows. He kind of was suffering from the Joe Milton issue a little bit on some throws to where he just throws it 200 miles an hour, even if he's just got a little dump off right there. It did not a ton of touch, but let's give him some grace. Let him work through the easier bits of the schedule before we bury the kid and say maybe he's the adopted Manning.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty much fully agree. I think you talk about Matt Patricia, like they brought in an NFL defensive coordinator who he obviously saw Arch Manning and was excited to go up against a guy who really hasn't played or started in a big game. I think the biggest takeaway is Texas is still elite on defense. And when you have a guy who really hasn't started or played much, like this is when you need your UL Monroe to open the season, or you need pretty much your little preseason game. Putting him against Ohio State on the road, like arguably the biggest game of the weekend. I mean, I do think he underperformed. Like he looked really bad, but I kind of expected him to struggle. And it kind of sucks for him because no one's going to talk about how bad Julian Sand played, but he didn't really play that well either. He just happened to come away with a win. But I still think he's going to, I don't think he's going to win a Heisman this year, but I do think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback. He'll get into a groove. And if you look at the Texas schedule, maybe they set it up this way on purpose, but they pretty much play like 3 straight high school teams now. So by the time he plays another quality SEC team, I think he'll be in a groove. They'll have everything figured out, and he'll learn from this. They're still, at the top of the SEC and going to make the playoff, and he'll be a completely different player by the end of the year. So,
yeah, man, I think Arch is going to turn out all right. I feel like he might have been a little bit nervous just going into that big game. But also, I don't think there's anything that was too concerning besides the fact that he missed some easy throws. I know they tried to get him going with some little wide receiver screens. He missed a couple easy ones over the middle. I think the first play of the game, he kind of rolled out, had a receiver in space, threw a duck at his foot. I was like, how's this day about to turn out? But like you said, for Julian, what you saying?
Their inability to run the ball kind of just put him in a position where he had to make plays and he didn't make any.
Yeah, bro, and that surprised me too, like with the running, because I know how dynamic their running game is. I had a little prop up, did not hit. I'll let y'all boys that did not hit, man. But let's talk about Ohio State too on offense. You know, you say that Julian Sayin didn't have the best game. I think this was his first start as well. What did y'all see from him? What would you like to see him improve on?
I mean, I feel like he didn't play very good, but he didn't play very bad either. You know,
Yeah, he didn't hurt them.
I saw some throws from Arch that hurt Texas. I didn't see a ton of those from Sayed. I mean, he just managed the game, and that's really all he needed to do because his defense pitched an absolute gem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they really opened the playbook up a ton. I think they were pretty conservative, and I mean that obviously had a lot to do with how their defense was playing. They didn't want to put Sain in a position to make any stupid plays. I think they're so loaded on the outside that he doesn't have to do a whole lot. I think I did see Jeremiah Smith a little bit irritated throughout the game, just not getting the ball as much as he wants, and that's something that I think is going to be tough for a freshman quarterback to deal with. Like, you have the best wide receiver in the country, and he's going to get pissed whenever he's not going off. But I think, like Arch, they'll open up the playbook as the year goes on. He'll get settled in. He'll be good. I mean, he was great coming out of high school, and they'll be fine.
No, I agree with both of y'all. But let's make a transition again. I know it's a big game that y'all got some things to say. Alabama versus Florida State. Dave, you made a comment earlier. You said it might be time to bury Bama. What you mean by that?
Yeah, they don't look like a well-coached team anymore. You know, I feel bad for Kalen DeBoer because following Saban was going to be impossible. Like, you were never going to be as good as Saban. But man, I feel like you could be better than he's been doing right now. You know, Castellanos was just tearing them up on scramble drills all game, and I never noticed an adjustment where they were putting a spy on him, like how y'all did with Perkins on Cade after Cade rattled off like that one scramble drill on the touchdown drive. Y'all kind of started spying him with Weeks and Perkins, and then that neutralized that part of the offense. Alabama never made that adjustment. They were very content just running base level schemes, never throwing any blitzes at him to confuse him or make him panic. They were very content just sitting back in soft zones and letting him get 6-7 yards in chunks, even if they were strapping up everything. I mean, and then also for all the crap that Jalen Milroe got last year about like, oh, he's not a good QB, which possibly, but he's better than Ty Simpson. And Ty Simpson, same thing with the Arch Manning situation, going on the road, your first start at an away stadium. You know, I know FSU sucked last year, but Doak Campbell is a tough place to play. That place jumps. And whenever it's third and long and you hear the friggin' and like the band go, it's hard. But I mean, he just did not look very poised. The offensive line doesn't look like it's improved a ton at all. And I don't think I need to spell it out too much, but Ty Simpson is not as mobile as Jalen Milroe. I don't know if that's a secret, but and then, you know, and it's just a general vibe around the program. I was reading this morning, and this is from a message board. So granted, could just be totally made up by some psycho in like Fairhope. But it was some guy that was like I've been a Bama donor for a while, like, you know, because of that, like I get to stay at Team Hotel. And he was basically writing like, you know, I was seeing stuff this year and last that made me be like, oh no, like I don't like where this ship is heading. Players like walking out of the hotel at like 1:30, 2 a.m., grabbing door dashes. Like it's not, yeah, it's not like if I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, you know, I think that's a far cry from the Saban disciplinarian focus on the game, you know, focus on the process. Whereas, you know, I think DeBoer has probably tried to lighten it up a little bit, but might have gone too far. They were making TikTok dances the day after they got belted by a team that went 2-10.
Yeah, no, they sorry for that. That man, yeah, G, I'm gonna get your thoughts, but I want to say something real quick, bro. I've been seeing this thing. I know you the Falcon representative, the Falcon analyst. I've been seeing they saying DeBoer, your QB Michael Penix, he was so good, he got that man the Bama job. You believe it?
Hey man, I'm gonna let him keep saying it.
This is crazy what I'm seeing. The QB talking crazy in the offseason, saying Saban not there to save you. And this is what your team puts on the field. This is the product you give us. The receiver
Hey, I
Ryan
mean,
Williams. Oh
I
my
know y'all saw
gosh.
that clip of number 18.
Yeah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
God, I just saw it this morning. I was so mad watching it, bro. I was
I mean,
like, what are we?
that's
He not
not
even in the
that's not Nick Saban. That's the complete opposite. I mean, that dude probably wouldn't play another snap the entire year if
Nick
Nick Saban.
Saban would have ran on the field and RKO'd him if he saw that.
That's just
So,
terrible tape.
I mean, I'm not gonna shoot down the narrative of Michael Penix and Rome Odunze and McMillan carrying DeBoer to the second place finish. I think he's a good coach. And one thing I saw all offseason about DeBoer is year two under DeBoer. That's his year. Like every stop he's been at, their year two has been a massive jump, and they've been really good. Washington year two is when they went 14-1. Michael Penix ain't walking through that door.
He ain't. I promise you, he's not. And that O
So
line is
I mean, they
nasty.
got guys like they're loaded. But I think the biggest thing for me is I heard so much about their defense, about their DBs, and man, they looked awful. I mean, it really reminded me a lot of the Vandy game last year when they just weren't playing assignment football on defense, got caught in wrong positions, and like just got shredded by a mobile quarterback. I mean, we got Castellanos talking all offseason. The craziest part is he was literally just talking out of his ass, and he backed it up. I
Popping
mean,
it.
and all you saw was these Bama fans talking crazy, like, yeah, this kid has no clue what's coming for him, and then he just gives him the belt. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
They threw the
Thomas
ball.
Castellanos, like, I owe you an apology. I thought you were an idiot, man, but kudos to you. That's an all-time shot call.
He threw the ball 14 times.
Yeah.
He's 5'11", like 175, 180, probably bigger than that, obviously. But you got me running out there, like this is crazy. You just killing these boys.
You know what's crazier too? I don't know how closely either of y'all followed him at Boston College last year, but whenever he got benched, he literally had the lowest QBR in the ACC of any starting QB. He was the worst quarterback in the Atlantic Coast Conference last year, and then just did that to Alabama.
Hey man, sometimes you gotta get in that lab. Sometimes you gotta pop out and show them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I will say, I think he's like the most ideal quarterback for a Gus Malzahn offense. And they're
Elaborate,
going to
G.
be able to do some crazy stuff running the ball, which it's good to see. I'm glad to see that they're back. It also, I mean, can we just talk about how much it shows DJ hurt them? I
He's a
mean,
Yes.
program killer, man. Set the Tigers back like 10 years.
yeah.
He did, bro. He really. Hey, watch this. You gonna be throwing touchdowns over there.
He didn't say which team he'd be throwing them to.
The pick six. And we going all the way. But man, shout out DJU, bro. We hope you killed the Chargers.
He got
Yeah,
cut last week, man.
No, he got picked up on the practice squad. They see something in him. Come on, bro. He with the guys.
I would say, like, maybe he could be a tight end, but I've seen him try to escape a D lineman, and he's not mobile.
Bro.
I think he should have played baseball, man. Be a good pitcher.
He got drafted, didn't he?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
I
like
mean-
the Mickey Mouse draft pick.
Yeah.
They knew he wasn't going to sign. It's like we're going to draft him just for media.
Man, we about to transition over to the ops though. The South Carolina Gamecocks. They beat Virginia Tech yesterday, 24-11. Y'all fellas catch that game?
I caught bits and pieces of it. You know,
Tell him,
I
what were you
think
doing, Dave?
Huh?
While the game was going on.
driving back from Clemson, being sad.
Oh, I thought you were getting your NCAA licks in.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
Getting the get back.
63-3 final.
Well, overall, you was on.
Heisman.
Yeah, you style.
Nah, I had the sliders all the way up, and I had yaws all the way down, and I would just kick the ball off and then run down and hit stick someone on the kickoff, and they would auto fumble it, and I'd scoop it. I had like a 90-point third quarter just doing that.
The week special. Yeah, shotgun and end zone.
Nah, they were gritty and
It's tight. What's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts on the game?
yeah, no, I think defense is still very good, which is a good sign for them. They lost a lot of pieces last year on the interior line and linebacker positions, especially. It looks like those gaps have at least been filled well enough. The O-line, if anyone else was their quarterback, would be a massive problem. You know, Clemson's O-line looked bad. Their O-line was opening the floodgates on like every third play. Everyone was getting through, but you know, I don't think Lenoris Sellers is the best player in college football right now, but he damn sure is the most exciting. I think I was telling you before we started recording, I think if Nussmeier was their QB, I don't think they would be good. And it's no knock on Nuss, it's a knock on the O-line. I think they need a guy that has that escapability to kind of cover up that flaw.
Superman.
Yeah, Nick Harbor was impressed with him. He looked much improved, so that's going to be good for them. But you know, the O-line thing is going to become an issue in SEC play against Virginia Tech. It's not going to matter. Whenever you're playing Georgia or LSU or whoever, that's going to become a massive problem because they're going to have the athletes that, you know, I think Lenoris is probably a top 1% athlete in college football. But LSU and Georgia, they're going to have some guys pretty close that are going to be able to get him on the ground quicker. So I expect a pretty similar season to what they had last year for them. I see like 9-3, 8-4 based off of what I saw week 1, but you know, long season, so we'll see.
Yeah, man. I mean, I tuned in and watched that first drive from Lenoris and was like, oh my God. And I think what stands out to me is, and I've seen it on Twitter, is you got Shula, who was the OC of the 2015 Panthers, and watching that first drive, it really looked like the 2015 Panthers in the sense that you got a quarterback who is massive, an insane athlete, can run the ball, and then they were utilizing tight ends, and they just looked physical. Obviously, the middle part of the game, you know, didn't really look like that. Kind of same thing you said about the O-line. Like, it's not going to show against VT, but they're gonna face someone this year, and they're not going to be able to run the ball, and that's when I'm interested to see Lenoris and his arm. He made some good throws. I mean, he had the deep ball to Harbor. The South Carolina fans have been waiting for that for, what, 4 years now?
2 deep balls to Harbor. One got called back. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, they look solid. I think the biggest part about South Carolina is, like, they just look well coached. Like, their DBs are always in good position. Like, and the thing about South Carolina is they're going to give up some big plays because they're so aggressive on defense. But rarely are they like in a terrible position that you never see blown coverages. And like special teams, they're elite every year on special teams. I mean, you saw Shane Beamer. He could have taken the ball with 5 yards. Instead, he's like, no, punt it again. And then they take it to the house. I think they're really well coached. And that's going to help them win some games. But yeah, interested to see them go up against an SEC caliber D-line because the O-line was getting toasted, and we saw Lenoris make a few Lenoris plays where he breaks 4 tackles and runs 20 yards for a first down, which, I mean, he's going to continue to make those plays, but they're going to go up against a team that stacks up much better on the D-line. I don't know. Seeing their win total at 7.5 is weird because I think that they should be a 9-10 win team, but if they face some injuries, you could see their season really go downhill. I like them. I think they're good. Interested to see the pass game. I mean, everyone loves to talk about their Lenoris's ability to run, but whenever we see them forced to throw the ball, and have 30, 40 pass attempts. He's got Harbor, he's got Mizio Bennett, but really uncertain about that wide receiver room. I don't think they have the depth there to be like a national championship contender. I think they're good enough to make the playoffs, maybe compete for the SEC, but I think that's probably their ceiling this year.
Okay, now I got a question for both of y'all boys. It's time for y'all to get y'all shit off, man. You can use your bias, do whatever you want. You talking about the O-line. What will South Carolina's O-line do against a Clemson D-line? What that gonna look like?
I mean, we'll see. Last year, our D line had a lot of success. We just couldn't tackle the man. D line would get home, he'd spin out of it. Wade Woodaz would like overgame his angle, and he would make 20 yards. And then for some reason, even though the D line was having success, Wes Goodwin started rushing 3 and then put us in dime personnel. So, and then that was all she wrote. But I think this year I anticipate us having a lot of success in that matchup. But to their credit, based on how our O-line looked last night and the fact that they've got Dylan Stewart and a stable of guys up front, I don't know how we'll fare against their front either. Might be another very boring, low-scoring game in Columbia again this year.
I mean, yeah, based on week 1, that matchup looks very similar to what we saw last year. Obviously, with it being the last game of the regular season, there's a lot to happen. There's going to be injuries. But, I mean, I'm looking at that matchup, and it's going to be a defensive battle. Probably a lot of, inability to throw the ball on both sides. Good pass rush. But the biggest thing is going to be which quarterback makes plays when they need to make them. And, I mean, based on what we've seen, one of the two makes those plays more often than the other. And whenever you're in a close ball game, late in the game, if I were to take someone right now, I'm taking Norris. He's proven it. The back half of last year, the last 6 games, I mean, he was probably the most clutch player in the country. But I do think our D-line will have a lot of success. Like I said, like our ability to rotate what felt like 8, 9 guys across the line and have success pretty much the entire night. With the way their line looks, like we should live in the backfield against them. Can we get him to the ground?
No, I like that. But we go see. Last game, fellas, I want to talk about the U versus Notre Dame. Carson Beck, following in Cam Ward's footsteps, man. What y'all saw from him?
Yeah, honestly, I was super impressed with what I saw from him. Looked poised, looked like a 5-year veteran quarterback. Mario Cristobal should be thanking Hannah Cavender every single day for that transfer. But he looked good. And that was pleasantly surprising for me. We've seen flashes from him at Georgia, but I think, towards the back half of last year, once they started facing stiffer SEC comp, he started to taper off a little bit. And that part of that was the shoulder thing he was dealing with. But also part of that was, we saw it throughout the year. He just didn't look like anything more than a game manager. But last night, he certainly looked the part, and I think is probably the reason they won that game. I hate the term quarterback matchup because they're never on the field at the same time. Like a quarterback matchup really isn't a thing. But you look at the game last night, Carson Beck played great, and Notre Dame, it was very clear, sorely misses Riley Leonard.
I think I kind of go against that a little bit, in the sense that I think C.J. Carr, the Notre Dame quarterback, actually played pretty well. First career start, down 10 in the fourth quarter, saw him make some big plays, especially with his legs. He honestly did look a lot like Riley Leonard in the sense that they utilized his legs a lot, especially in the red zone. And I think he's going to be really good, honestly. But, I think the biggest takeaway was, Carson Beck looked great, but it also goes to show how bad Georgia's receiving core was last year. Miami's got some dogs outside, especially, you see C.J. Daniels come in, make that one-handed grab for a touchdown. He was making plays all night.
LSU transfer.
They were able to have a lot of success, and Carson Beck looked like himself from 2 years ago. He looked like that, making smart plays. He made some good throws. I think them being at home was a big advantage. Miami's not going to be some crazy atmosphere. Their fans, barely show up for most games, but they were deep last night against a, you know, freshman quarterback, and that was the difference. I think, they'll be up there in the upper top of the ACC competing with Florida State, Georgia Tech, and Carson Beck's probably going to be a big reason. But CJ Carr, I think Notre Dame's going to be just fine. He's good. It's tough to ask the freshman quarterback to come in and lead a game-winning drive with a minute and no timeouts, especially whenever his O-line's, not really doing much against a three-man rush. But he played well. We saw Notre Dame lose, what was it, week 1 or 2 to Northern Illinois last year, and then go all the way and make a run to the championship. They'll get better, and I think he'll be good by the end of the year.
Yeah. You can't bury these teams, man. Can't bury them. It's so early. But pushing off of that, I do want to clarify. I'm not saying oh, CJ Carr sucks. That's not how I meant it. It's more of just I noticed, especially in the first half, they struggled finishing drive. They would string together a nice few reps, get some first downs, work it to about midfield, and then find themselves in a 3rd and 7. And then it's just a tough situation to have a first-year starter come in and expect him to make those plays. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I kind of meant that in more of a way is I think it came down to the quarterback battle, but no, yeah, not pinning that one on
I
CJ
think
Carr
they just got
completely.
a little bit too predictable with their play calling. They didn't really open it up, which makes sense. I mean, it's his first start, and you saw Miami kind of picking up on that and just keying in on certain plays that Notre Dame kept running. But for him to be a freshman and to go in there, especially after making a bonehead play, throwing an interception, going down 2 scores, then coming back to tie it up. That's something that you like to see for a young guy, even though they lost.
Yeah. Another point on the Miami side too, I want to say I was very impressed with how the defense looked. I mean, we kind of know their whole MO last year was Cam Ward was scoring 40, but that defense was probably
Giving up
also
40.
giving up damn near 40. So really impressed how they came out week 1 against what I think is going to end up being a very good Notre Dame team again when it's all said and done this year. Kind of locking them down for the majority of the game.
Nah, for sure, man. Any more thoughts from y'all fellas?
I mean, football's back. A lot of season left. We're going to find out a lot more about all of these teams. I think by, I think week 1 and 2, it's hard to really know what you have. I think probably once we kind of get into late September, we'll really have a better idea of what the end of the year is going to start looking at. But just excited that it's back. It's best time of year. It's like Christmas every single Saturday, all the way until the middle of January where they hand out the trophy.
I do want to talk about Jackson Arnold and Auburn. I really hated Jackson Arnold coming into this year. Watched him last year at Oklahoma, a guy who had a lot of hype coming out of high school, and he just struggled. Kind of had happy feet like we've seen from Cade, missing routine throws all year, making boneheaded plays, and then had a lot of just uncertainty about how he was going to play with Auburn, a team that kind of had a lot of similar issues that Oklahoma had last year in terms of just their O-line. But man, he played well. I mean, obviously he didn't have to throw the ball very much. Their O-line controlled the line of scrimmage. They ran the ball for, I don't know, probably 300 yards. But he used his legs, made a bunch of plays on the road, at night, a blackout, a Baylor, which I do think Baylor's going to be a solid team this year in the Big 12. But was pleasantly surprised with Jackson Arnold. And I'm interested to see what happens with Auburn whenever they get into SEC play and they do face a team with a good D-line that can kind of stop the run. Still not fully there on him throwing the ball yet, but I am excited to see him go up against some better teams.
How did that 5-star receiver look? I think it's on sophomore year
Cam
for
Coleman.
Auburn.
Yeah, Clemson wanted him big time. I mean, he's there. He's good. Like, I watched him last year, and he's going to make plays. They were never really forced to throw the ball much. So didn't see as much out of him as, hopefully we will later in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think we got one more game this way. Doesn't Chapel Bill make his debut later this afternoon?
Yeah.
Wait, who does? Oh, Bill. Oh, man.
Yeah, we got TCU UNC tonight.
Oh, yeah. Now we gonna have to talk about that. But fellas, I appreciate y'all boys pulling up. Our two Clemson analysts, G2, D Bish. It's your host, Kobe Boykin. It's the Real Camden Podcast. It's been real. We out.